Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Yorker. It's been a while, but as we get closer to the World Cup, we're all really excited to see the team. We've got to see them in one match, the first opener in the Trination series versus West Indies, and the second one versus Ireland got washed out. So that's too bad. Uh, would you? I know Naf is joining us all the way from UK, and you've seen these guys before, Rina and Alfie. So since Nafi's the guest today, let's start with him. What'd you think, man? Did you get a chance to watch that first match, and what are your thoughts?
Didn't watch it live. I caught a few of the bit of the highlights on the BBC. But I was really pleased how Saka and Tamim they set the platform and how Saki is good batting form. I think he's still struggling with the bowling. I think I would like to like. It's funny because you recently I've seen like when his batting's good, his bowling is not as great, and it's we get. I'd like to see both his bowling and batting come together. I'm really concerned with Mustafa Zir. Like he's clearly having issues with getting used to his new actions and adjusting to because some of the international players have clearly got used to him. I am really pleased with Saifuddin's introduction into the team. Like he's becoming into he's turning into a genuine, well, not genuine, but he's getting there. He's becoming a useful pacing all rounder. Um, I would like to see more Ruba Hossein because he is definitely key in match with some match winning performances. Inconsistent, but he can when it comes to winning key games on seeming conditions. He's important, but it's promising so far.
Rinat, what do you think? I know you'll be happy about the bowling because what I think is everyone's getting these high scores so far in that series, and this was kind of predicted. They said it would be a batting friendly pitch in England, but what was most impressive to me was how we kept them under 275 in that first game in West Indies. How were we able to do that? Because really, it wasn't nothing out of the ordinary. They just kept it tight, I would say. What do you think?
Right. And I think the team did it. The fact that the team did it with our most economical bowler went going for a lot of runs, and we still managed to restrict them in a reasonable total. It's something that does give us fans some confidence. That if one of the lead guys have a bad day, the other can make up for it. I think the bowling attack was very effective because two of our most experienced guys, Mashrafi and Shakib, are back in the team, right? And I know Mashrafi played the last ODI series, but then he was not exactly on form, or the conditions, for whatever reason, was not suiting his bowling. But him, he had a great game, and I think he is one of those guys that he sneaks in wickets uh, at, at crucial times, and that helps the rest of the team. And then Shakib, just quickly, I think just his 10 overs of bowling gives that comfort space to the captain to move other bowlers around him and bowl them at non-crucial times. Like you see guys like Saifuddin, you see guys like Miraz. I mean, Mashrafi was able to sneak in those bowlers in between the innings, and that helps. So overall, I was good. I think the fans shouldn't get used to us restricting oppositions for under 270 very often, because it's not going to happen. Uh, this was one of those off days when or one of those on days rather, where our bowling unit sort of did really well. And the final thing I want to say is the fielding was a huge part of it. I think we saw two really good catches that was taken. Those were 50-50 chances, and the first one, again, that partnership could have gone on and on, right? And that catch by Riyadh was an excellent one. So it one of those games that showed us that fielding can change the game around.
Right. Alfie, Nafi. By the way, Nafi, I can't see you anymore. I hope you can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you. I've
All right, could
no
you?
problem, no problem with audio. It's just
I,
my videos being a
he'll
bit
pro- he'll
weird.
probably
Yeah, that's fine.
His video pipe.
You could just continue. So
Yeah.
we'll continue
Yeah.
having the chat. So Alfie,
Yeah.
nothing talked about Rubel a bit. What kind of selection problems do you envision for the future? Because Saifuddin's doing pretty good, and we know BCB they like their guys. They like to give them runs like they did with Miraz, and they're trying to slot this guy Saifuddin in. Where does Rubel come in? Do you think in the future?
No, I mean Rubel. I think is definitely one of the frontline bowlers. We only played three seamers because we played Miraz as the extra spinner. So there may be conditions, especially in the first half of the World Cup. I think when the conditions might be a little bit cooler, if there's rain or dampness around, it might be more seam friendly than it may be. Let's say towards the back end of June. So there may be situations when we might want to play four fast bowlers in the 11, and so in that case, I think Rubel would probably be the next one who comes in, and Miraz gets dropped. I like on the one hand, I do kind of like. I mean, well, this isn't the World Cup though, so when it gets to the World Cup, I would like it would be interesting to see if Mashrafi decides that okay, Saifuddin himself and Fizz are enough in the seam bowling department and goes with two spinners, because we have to remember that some of the teams that we play, they're going to be uncomfortable playing against spin. Now, maybe the pitches are going to be completely nullify our spin attack, but you're going to have teams like West Indies, possibly South Africa, which the teams that they don't, the batsmen don't really bat well against spin, and so in that case, it may be a good idea to have 20, possibly 25 overs of spin if Riyadh bowls a few overs, or whoever plays as a part-time spinner. So I think that Rubel will definitely play a big role in the World Cup. Whether he plays in every single game, I don't know. I think the more pressing issue is that Rubel's death bowling in the last couple of years has been really, really poor. And as Nafi has mentioned, with Fizz, his form looks really bad because in the last two games, Fizz has gone for about 9 runs and over. So that's not very good, dating back to the last ODI in New Zealand. So it's definitely something that he's got to work on.
Right. Even his action doesn't look the same anymore. Doesn't have that same zip that it used to have.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something called the eye test where you see him now, you feel like you could take him on. Yeah, you could. Whereas before you weren't too sure what he was going to do with that ball. Nafi or Rinat, you can come in as well on this. So Liton got dropped. And Shomo took his place, and he's doing a good job so far. It's just 1 innings, but I think his last innings or something in the domestics he got 200. And
Yeah.
this is good because
Yeah.
I seriously don't think both of them they should play in the same team. And if one of them play, they have to do a good enough job where they permanently hold out the other person. So how do you see this going in the future?
Well, I think the squad that we saw against Ireland, I think that's probably the squad. That's probably our best 11 that's going to play in most of the games. The combination seems right if you look at the team. Liton is just there. I feel like he's there as a backup wicket keeper, just in case Mushi gets injured at this point. I don't see our selectors or our coaching staff getting rid of Shomo at any point of the tournament. He's probably going to play all the games, perform or not.
And I don't think they should, because Shomo is the type of player. He only needs to fire in 2 games, and then we'll win. The other 7 games he could get ducks, but the 2 games that he fires, he's gonna win you a game. He's like Ashraful.
You're right, Alfie. He is a match winner. Like the ton he got against Pakistan, we won that. But when Liton scored a century versus India, we couldn't win that. I mean, that's just something that just occurred to me now. But yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Nafi? How do you, batting wise, are you happy basically with the selection?
I'm okay with it. I'm always going to be disappointed that we couldn't really fit in, because right now where's Mitton's position at the moment? Like it's not.
Batting at 5.
He's batting at 5. Yeah, I mean, really, I would have liked him to keep pushing on in the top order, because against India, when he has a great start and gets the timing really well, he's a dangerous he's a dangerous customer, and I feel like number 5, he's not really given a chance for a good platform, and the ball's not coming as fast onto the bat, so he's not using his not being able to use his main weapon and getting really good timing. So yeah, but it is what it is. I think it's a reasonable solution for our current situation at the moment.
It's so good you bring him up. Is the forgotten man, Mohammad Mitun in the side, because since Shakib has put himself at 3, previously you saw Shabir coming in at 3, but I heard some interviews with the selection. They seem to prefer Shabir lower down the order where he can get you that extra 20, 30 runs. And as Rinat said, I agree with them. And that includes the selection of Mitun in there. I think he's done well enough. Not in tests, like Alfie always says that he's not a test player, but I think this is a different format, and
No,
he's done. Yeah, go ahead, Alfie. Sure.
Yeah, I don't like Mithun being in the ODI team too. I'd rather see Mosaddeq in the batting at 5 or
Hmm.
anywhere in the top 5. But you're right. Mithun has done fairly well. He's got a couple of half centuries, especially when not many other batsmen stepped up. So, I mean, I hope he gets a chance to bat in this tri series with all the rain around. I don't know if that's going to happen. And if we keep blowing opposition out and winning by 8 or 9 wickets, then Mithun's not going to get a chance to bat. So whether he does well or not, I'd like to at least have him get a go so that we know what our real best 11 is going into the first World Cup match. Because I'm not convinced that Mithun is a better option than Mosaddeq. Mosaddeq can bowl. He's a good fielder, and he can also bowl a little bit of off spin if Riyadh is not bowling or if Riyadh's not bowling that well. So that's just my take. But other than that, I think the 11. This is probably a pretty good 11 with I guess Miraz and maybe Rubel being the guys that might be subbed in based on the pitch conditions.
Yeah.
Right. And I just wanted to add, I think with Shakib back, and if you have Shakib, Tamim, Riyadh, and Mushi all fit, I think it makes sense for them to prefer Mitun over Mosaddeq because Mosaddeq is a risk factor, right? He's a bit of a gamble, but with all the seniors playing in the side, you can afford to take that gamble. With Mosaddeq is sort of more of a safer approach, right? Where you sort of think that okay, even if he doesn't do too well with the bat, he'll give you few overs of good bowling. So in the end, his post position is sort of justified. But then that's more important. Let's say if Shakib gets injured, then Mosaddeq has to come in at that point, right? Or if Riyadh gets injured, so Mosaddeq will have to come in. But as long as the seniors are fit, I think Shomo, Sabbir, Mitun, these are the guys that it's what you said about Shomo. It's the same with Mitun and Sabbir, right? These are the guys that if they fire in 2 or 3 games, they're going to do it very quickly, and that's going to give us a boost.
Well, I don't know if that's true of Mithun. I mean, I would if he gets picked. I hope that's true. Now, one of the problems with Mosaddeq is he did well in the Dhaka Premier League, averaged about 50, had 100, and a bunch of not outs. But his problem has been his strike rate, and he was batting low down the order at 6 and 7. I think mostly at 6, and he's not a 6 or 7 batsman. And he was playing for Abahani at that 6-7 position, probably because management told him that if you play in the World Cup in the national team, you'll be batting at 6 or 7. So, and I think that's a wrong approach. Unfortunately, there aren't really that many top order positions open. Tamim and Shombo and Shakib and Mushi, the top 4 are pretty much locked. And then 5 is really the only open spot because Riyadh has 6 in locked down. And then 7, Sabbir has that pretty much locked down because there's no one else really competing with Sabbir right now.
I have to also ask: is everyone comfortable with Shakib being at number 3? The player with the most unorthodox technique is playing at number 3.
I'm actually pretty comfortable with it. I just realized recently, I was like, yeah, Shakib should never bat above 5, but because he's irresponsible, And as you said, he has a really, really poor batting technique. But he scores runs regardless of how bad his technique is. So and he's got that aggression that I think we need at batting at number 3, because that with Tamim we're going to get off to a slowish start with our openers. I mean, now if Shomo is there, then yes, that'll help the run rate up a bit. So I really think Shakib batting at 3 is a good idea, because in all likelihood Shomo will be the first wicket to fall. And then we need another guy come in at 3 to help keep that run rate going. That's my personal take. What do you think, Nafi? And then I guess we can go to Rinat as well.
I think it's okay for now, but he can be sometimes found out against like I think he has 2 weaknesses. Sakib has he's when it comes to spinners early on, he gives away his wicket. He can get really cramped up for space very easily against genuine very good spinners.
Yeah.
Attacking in the stumps, and secondly, swing bowling early on when he doesn't have his eye in. Again, he's been found out very easily.
That technique. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But
I just wanted to say, that's Shakib's weaknesses, but overall, Bangladesh as a team, the number 3 spot or 1 down is their weakness. So they still haven't figured out a solution. So if anybody's willing to step up like Shakib and just solve that for them and just take on the pressure, I mean, I don't see why not.
I think it's the best possible move that we could do is to have Shakib at 3. Rinat?
Yeah, I think 3 has been one of our worst batting spots throughout the history for Bangladesh cricket, and I think at this point it got to a point where basically we are putting the guy that has the best nerve, that has the coolest mind that you can possibly have in the team, right? He's the coolest guy. He's calm. He doesn't get intimidated by the opposition or anything like that. So I think that works in his favor, even though his techniques has his shortcomings. But then just the mere fact that Shakib is the only guy in the team after Tamim that's going to come to bat and not going to get intimidated regardless of who the bowler is. So he can probably see the best seamers on any side off, right? So, and then at that process, he's going to score at a healthy rate. So that's just a bonus.
Yeah.
And with Mushfiq coming in later, after Shakib, there is that window, right? Because Shakib works really well with Tamim and Shakib works really well with Mushfiq, right? So it's strategically, you have to also think about partnerships and chemistry between the 2 players. So he comes in at a spot where he can bat with either one of those 2 guys, and he can score. He can have a big partnership. Even with Riyadh, he has a really good chemistry. So him coming in at 3 makes sense in terms of partnerships as well.
Right. So we talked about quite a few things, and I also like the comparison between Mithun and Mossadegh. We could do another one just on that. I think it's really interesting. And for sure, Mossadegh batting later down, it hampered them, where it helps Mithun. He got more deliveries in, and maybe Mossadegh would have done the same if he was in there. But it is an opportunity at the end of the day. That's just how I feel. If you're still coming in at 7, and you're in the national team, right? But yeah. So thanks, guys, for joining. Any last words? I think we'll face West Indies again since the Ireland match got washed out. Or no, we just have we face
West Indies. I think day after tomorrow. Yeah.
Right. And okay, so let's do some predictions on that one, because I know it was a really convincing victory, but it's Bangladesh, and we know everyone would have gone bonkers if we lost this match. Even if it was a close match, we still would have cussed them out. But we're just happy now because they won. So.
Yeah.
What does Bangladesh have to do, Nafi? What do you think to do a repeat performance against West Indies?
The only way I would like for us to bat first instead of proper platform. I would like to see because we haven't mentioned Sabir. Sabir is back in the team.
Yeah.
He's performing well, and I love Sabir because he adds a different dimension to our batting side that isn't used to be quite here and now. You'd see Riyadh filling in that power hitter down the order, but and with Saifuddin, but really Sabir really is a genuine is a genuine power hitter for me. Like he can cleanly hit the ball. So I would love to see some really strong batting performance, and I would can be interested in seeing our seamers tried out a bit more with a bit more variety. So that's what I'm looking forward to see, and I'm predicting. If we're doing predictions right now, are we doing predictions?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you a prediction. It will be it won't be as a cakewalk as last time. It would be a bit closer. West Indies will run us a bit closer, but it would be a comfortable victory for Bangladesh again.
Yeah, I agree. I think West Indies are missing some. They're not a very good side to begin with. We've beaten them home and away when they've had Chris Gale and Shimron Hetmeyer, and those guys are missing this series. So really, there should be no excuse into us not beating the West Indies. Now, the margin, yeah, I don't think we're going to beat them by 8 wickets again, unless we bowled them out very cheaply, which is possible. But I'd like to see us bat first at least two times also in this tournament against Ireland, against West Indies, and with the Irish, they have a really weak bowling attack. I'd like to see us score 350. We've never scored 350 in a ODI, so I would like to see us score 350 plus. If the West Indies can get 380, we should be able to get 350 or so, something like that.
Yeah, I mean
Right.
they have to do that at some point. You watch the English side and the way they go about their business, just getting all these runs, they make it look nothing. And it is a kind of shame
Yeah,
that we have never been able to get. I think the high score is 320 something. We have
329. Yeah,
we never even crossed 330. So
yeah.
and really good
I
point
think
by the way. So I'm sorry, Riyadh.
no, that's okay. Yeah, no, if you wanted to finish it off, yeah.
No, I was gonna say. So I was really happy with the points, and I kind of agree both with Alfie and Nafi. Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. So on to you.
Right. So I think just well, and we'll talk more about the scores and stuff. But I think Bangladesh is not that kind of a team that's going to win many. That can score 350 or more than that. We're the kind of team that our bowling is going to be our strength. At the end of the day, guys like Mashrafi, Shakib, Mustafiz, these guys will have to have some sort of an economical spell and restrict the opposition and then grind it out. That's the kind of team we are, unfortunately, and that's what we're going to work. And we have had pretty good success over the past few years doing that in away conditions too, not just home. So,
Yeah.
but then going back to the series, I think it doesn't really matter what the outcome is at this point. With the forecast in Ireland, I think if the management feels like there is a chance of a full game, they should make sure that the guys that hasn't been tested gets a run, that are in the World Cup squad, especially.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because the way weather works in Ireland, we may not get two more full games to the rest of the tri-series. It could be one full game. So they have to keep a close eye on that and make sure that guys like Rubel, who's in the World Cup squad, he gets a proper go. And even Liton, I mean, I know I've said that he is a backup wicketkeeper in my opinion, but he's still in the World Cup squad, and you have to play him. So at some point, I hope that the guys get tried and tested properly. Riyadh's suffering an injury. Mushi is recovering from an injury. I think those two guys, they should go a little easy. We have two great warm-up games coming up in the World Cup against full oppositions. If they're well rested now, it's better for them to play more games right before the tournament rather than now and then, which hampers the recovery process a little bit. So yeah, that's about it. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. They should challenge themselves. They should try different things. It doesn't matter if we lose to Ireland. It doesn't matter if we lose to West Indies right now. It doesn't mean jack shit. The whole idea is preparation. We went with a full squad in the first game because they wanted to see what the seniors can do, because we were missing the full senior core for the entire last tour. So they wanted to see that. They saw that our core group is still very strong, and they don't need to worry too much about them. So now it's time to test the rest of them.
I agree. We have Yasser Ali, we have Naeem Hassan, we have Mossadegh. I'd like to really see those three play at least 2 games in the tri series. It would have been ideal if they could all get 3, but that's probably not going to happen. But we'll see. So.
Right. I mean, Just to say a few things about that. So if Shomo gets replaced with Liton, we'll get to see Shomo. But if we put Yasser in there, and if we have a repeat performance of our 3-4 batsmen up top, they get all the runs, then maybe we might not get to see the other Mossadegh. Even if you put Mossadegh and Yasser in there. And the bowling
Mhm.
side, yeah, we'll get to see Naeem. If he gets a chance, then we'll surely, and Rubel too, because they're gonna bowl. So
Yeah.
yep. Thanks guys for joining. It was really good insights, and let's try to do another one after the second ODI.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll get some